Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to make bruschetta out of toasted crostini. And we have our beautiful tomatoes from our garden. If you happen to watch those videos, we have a wonderful olive oil from Stonehouse in California, locatelli cheese to finish, a beautiful baguette from a company called Bed of Bread up in Clark Summit, PA, and some balsamic vinegar and some other seasoning. So come join us and enjoy the video. So one of the first steps in our process is taking this beautiful baguette and slicing it. And we like to slice it at an angle. So we cut off the ends, save these, add a little butter to them. They're absolutely delicious. And get them prepared for toasting. So I would set your oven on broil to get it heated up. And make these all evenly cut. I usually do about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch as we're in preparation for getting these ready for the oven so we could crisp them up really nice. So now we got our bread sliced into nice slices and we're gonna put them on a tray, a baking tray. I use this pizza tray which has a lot of airflow. It really helps things crisp up. So you can arrange them however you want, any which way, just make the whole baguette fit. And you can get them all on here. A nice pattern. As you can see, we make them all fit very nicely. So now we have our garlic olive oil in a mister. And this is really nice for getting an even coat across the entire baguette. So you just spray it on, pretty simple. Get it nicely coated, get enough on there. And this garlic oil is very fragrant and very strong. Take your salt, put a little bit of salt, not too much, you don't want to over salt, just give it a little flavor. Your black pepper, freshly ground. So you get a little on every little thing. And then it's ready to go in the oven. So now I'm gonna put it in the oven, and this is a little tricky. So you want to just keep your eye on it and watch it because you want it to be crisp, but yet a little chewy in the inside. So we took the baguette that we toasted in the oven and we took it out. It was about 5 minutes, but remember, you keep your eye on it because you do not want it to burn. It becomes a little hard. So we're gonna get on to the next step of making the actual bruschetta, and I'm gonna pass that off to my wife.
All right, so the first thing I do in making the bruschetta is grating the garlic. We love garlic in this household, but it's going to be raw and that can be too harsh to eat. So I'm going to prepare the raw garlic by grating it, but we're going to strain it out of the final product. So first thing I'm going to do, and I'm using purple garlic from the farmer's market in Scranton Co-op Farmer's Market. I'm going to take 3 cloves and grate it. So I've grated 3 cloves. The ends here, they're a little bit hard to do, so I'm just gonna put them in. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna infuse our olive oil and balsamic vinegar.
So now I used Stonehouse garlic olive oil. Chris is using their regular EVVO.
Their house.
Mm-hmm. Their house extra virgin. And I'll include the links in the video where you can get that.
So even though their garlic olive oil is great, we have real garlic. So we're going to use real garlic for the recipe, but like I said, we're going to strain this later. So what I've done is I've gathered some of each of the different types of tomatoes here. We have Roma, golden cherry, and other different varieties of red cherry tomatoes. And we're going to use a little of each. They each have different characteristic flavors and they make a nice blend together. I have a grated tomato knife that I'm going to use, and Just going to try and get these cut in such a way that we're getting the smallest pieces possible. And I'm cutting off anything, like the stem area. All right, the objective is to get small pieces. Oh, I don't know, these are like 1/4 inch by 1/3 inch type of size. So I've made narrow slices, and now it's tedious. That's why it's expensive to order this as an appetizer at a restaurant, because it's really, you're paying for all of the labor to have these nice pieces of tomato where you can spoon them onto the bread. Actually, they usually do it. All right, so I've started with some Roma here, and I'm going to put them into our strainer, and the juice, the liquid from the tomato as I'm working on them, is going to drop into the bowl so that it too can be infused with the garlic. So all of the Roma tomatoes have been sliced, and I'm going to start on the cherry. Now I just want to say, this is an orthodox type of tomato used to make bruschetta. Normally you would use a beefsteak slicing tomato, but because we have these cherry tomatoes plentiful in our garden, we tried it with bruschetta and it's very nice. So that's why we're using them. So the cherry tomatoes clearly are really small, but I'm going to try my best to get them in the similar size and shape as the ones that we just did. Now I'm starting to work on the golden ones, quartering them lengthwise, and then trying to cut them in thirds here.
And these tomatoes are a very sweet variety, so mixing the blends and the types of tomato makes for a nice taste balance.
I've finished chopping the yellow that I want to use, and I want to get all of the juice that came out of all of those tomatoes in there as well.
Nothing goes to waste. All the flavors are going to incorporate.
Okay, so I've completed what I want to use. Now I'm going to dump it into a clean bowl. And now I'm going to take liquid, the olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and the juice that the garlic was sitting in, and I'm going to strain it and add it back to our tomato. And see, I'm going to leave behind all of the garlic, but trust me when I tell you that this is going to have that garlic flavor. I'm going to mix the different varieties together. Now we're going to add salt, a lot of salt.
Again, with salt, you can add a little less and then add more later. Always taste. You can always...
I will taste after I mix it through.
You can always add, but you can't take away.
Not as much pepper as salt. Honey, when you prepared the bread, you put pepper and salt on the bread?
I did. I used the garlic oil through the mister and then salt and pepper, which gives it a nice little flavor up front.
We're going to add some cheese at the end, which does add an element of salt, but still, trust me, it tastes delicious and garlicky. Wow, it's garlicky. But I'm going to add more salt.
Yeah, so you'll have to chase away the vampires later in the day, but you'll absolutely love this recipe if you love garlic.
Or you just use less garlic. If you don't have garlic at all, you can use garlic powder or garlic salt in place of it. It's not a problem.
It does the same thing, but if you could use the fresh garlic, you get a much better result.
Because we're going for something that has a taste of fresh. It's just a fresh tasting dish. I'm not looking for it to taste salty. Just not detect the salt, but taste as flavorful as possible.
Just try to balance out the flavors. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, when we're at home, we just bring the whole bowl to the table and the tray of bread, and each person makes their own. But we're going to prepare it in advance today. So we're going to stack it on there. You have the option of adding some of the juice, or you could just put it on the table and let others. It's less crunchy the more juice you add. And then we like to put locatelli on the top.
So we finally shred it. It has a nice salt contact to the finished product.
All right, so we're gonna make up a batch.
So here's our final plated product. Thank you for coming along this journey. Watch out for our next videos. And please like and subscribe. We love doing this for you. And manja, go enjoy. Have a great day.